Welcome to Fridays with Anne. This is a series of conversations with Belgian homeopath Anne Vervaeke about homeopathy. I will ask her curiously whatever confuses me in homeopathy, like case taking, case analysis, or theory in general, and Anne will answer according to her insights, experience, and most recent findings. You, the viewer, are invited to participate actively, so please feel free to send in comments and questions. For more information on Anne and her work, please follow these links, which will also be posted below every video. And now today's episode of Fridays with Anne. All right, welcome. Hello, Anne, to this Friday.
Hello, Joost.
Okay, this should be another interesting one. Last time we spoke about different perspectives of the simillimum. What is the simillimum? And we also got to know what your idea of the simillimum is. In brief, that there is a simillimum for one person's life, so to say, right?
Yes.
And this, I mean, what we heard when the sensation idea came up, we heard that there is a human song and another song, the other song, it was called, this famous book. And meaning also when you administer the simillimum, that it cures this other song, so to say, it disappears, and what remains is only the human song.
Yeah.
What is your idea of vital disturbance, or what the vital level is, and so on? Would you please explain that?
Yes. You know, we have to use metaphors and images. So the other song was actually like a good metaphor. You say like there's some disturbance, like on your radio, you have another music, another voice, another song coming in. So it's disharmonious. Your song can be heard and the other can be heard clearly, and they interfere and they interrupt each other. So the first idea was, yeah, good, let's get rid of the other one, you know, like let's make our receiver, our radio receiver, let it have a clear how to say, reception. But if you think it over, you know, it comes down to the already very known quote, like, is there something like a healthy lion? You know the quote. It means if a person needs lacleonidum because the other song in him is the song of lion, and you give him lacleonidum, what is left? Is he a healthy lion, or is the lion song gone? And so you have these two camps. The camp that thinks there is something like a healthy lion. Now your patient became a healthy lion, so he's still lacleonidum, but in a healthy state. And there is another camp who thinks, no, the lion has gone, now the patient is left. And to my idea, if the patient is left and he sings his song, he still sings his individual song, doesn't he? In my understanding, the lion can't be gone, because the lion is his individual way of being, his individual way of perceiving himself and the world. And it can be healthy, it can be harmonious, you can be yourself singing your own lion song. Yeah. Be yourself, but not producing any symptoms. That means there's a harmonious way of being yourself. If you produce symptoms, then it must mean that this in yourself, something disharmonious, something disturbed, is trying to get your attention, catch your attention by producing symptoms. And by the particular pattern of symptoms it produces, it will make clear to the homeopath, oh, this person needs lacleonidum. That's his remedy to get him back in harmony.
Yeah.
To me, is then a healthy lion.
Right. Can you then equate your idea of this healthy lion, or would you say that the vital disturbance is equal to individuality, or to maybe even soul, if this word fits in here?
I think so. I think it is, since we do have to individualize to prescribe, and the more we individualize, the more precisely prescribe. We say it is on the deeper level.
Mm-hmm.
What is the deepest level is where you are unique, where you are different than anybody else. Of course, we already talked about this. It's impossible to go that far as a homeopath, but we come as close as we can to that most individual picture we can have of the patient in front of us. And then find the best matching remedy, which is also a matter of fine-tuning. We have a group, and then we try a whole group, and then we try to get down to a species that matches as well as possible to produce or to provoke some reaction. And the reaction that is provoked by our remedy, we don't know the dynamic. We just, by empirical knowledge and observation, see it happen all of the time. We see it happen, but we don't know how it happens. I do have a theory, by the way.
Go on.
You want to hear it?
While we're at it?
It's nothing more than a hypothesis, but you know, often I hear or I read that homeopathy is resonance. It's a resonance medicine, if not the energy remedy, energy medicine, but that doesn't say anything at all. But the resonance medicine, to me, also doesn't explain, because what happens is resonance. I agree, there has to be resonance, otherwise nothing happens at all. That's why if you give a remedy that is really off, far off the remedy that the patient needs, nothing happens, not even resonance.
Yeah.
But the curative effect of a remedy, I don't think, is based on a resonance, because resonance doesn't cure. If you have your guitar and you have your touch a string, and then the other octave higher string will start to resonate, but that's all what it does. I mean, the two start to move because of resonance, but that's it. Nothing particularly curative happening at all. And that's only a theory, While I think if you can find as a homeopath the species in nature, or whatever species we use, whatever substance we use, that symbolizes, that contains somehow the information that matches the pattern of the patient, the substance is always in a perfect state, because there's nothing in nature, there's nothing out there that is not in a perfect state. Only human. We can be disturbed. Why? Because we have a mind and we have all kind of attributes to be disturbed. But in nature, there isn't. Everything is blissfully happy and perfect. So if we can take a substance that matches the pattern of disturbance, the original pattern and the need of the patient, then we give actually the perfect example to the disturbed example. And by entrainment, and I think that is the dynamic underneath, or could be the dynamic underneath, that actually provokes this curative effect in the patient, like having a strong enough example of the perfect picture. You get my point?
It sounds like tuning an instrument.
It is.
It sounds like tuning an instrument when you have a guitar or you have a piano, and a tone, or you play a chord and the tone is out of tune, you increase the tension of a few strings so that another tone reaches the right pitch so that it fits in with a harmony.
Yeah.
Is that
and
what you mean?
Resonance. Yeah, then you have resonance, but resonance is rather the result.
It's a byproduct. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a result rather than the dynamic.
Mm-hmm. I see. I see. All right. Would that mean then entrainment that what happens if you for a long time give a remedy which is not in resonance or not in the right remedy, so to say?
Well, Hanuman dealt with that, I think, in his organon. And when he wrote these chapters on natural states, natural diseases, which is our state, natural disease, and artificial diseases, which is a result of the remedy that is not suitable.
All right.
So actually, what is happening in the proving is the same thing, but in the proving, we deliberately take remedies until we have symptoms that don't belong to us. And if you take a remedy, let's say once, and it's not matching your state, and it's less intense, then nothing will happen at all. That's what Hanuman said. If your original state, your original disease is stronger than the new one that is a natural or is secondary or whatever, it's not fitting to your system, you won't even notice it. If it's stronger, if the second disease is stronger, then it will take you for a while. So you come in the state of the second disease, it runs its course, and then it fades away, and you're back to where you were before in your original state. And I think that is what happens when we take a remedy that is not suitable at all, not even partial. So when it's too weak, nothing happens. When it's strong, it imprints for a short period of time, and the short period of time depends on the potency and susceptibility, I guess, and just fades
away. The perseverance of the homeopath.
Of course, as well.
And while we're at this, do you have any idea then what a partial remedy does?
Yeah, sometimes it takes away symptoms and they never come back. So we talked about this in our case management, with what happens after you gave a remedy that you thought was the right remedy. Of course, you always do, and it turns out to have taken away some symptoms and left some other symptoms, and sometimes provoked a new symptom, but that is rather rare. New symptom most likely will not persist in the course of time, but some symptoms do come back, and then when you repeat remedy, they won't go away. But some symptoms go away forever. Like since you took carcinosum, for instance, this and this symptom never came back. Okay, fine. So probably it dealt with that symptom, and there's no need to produce it again. So it's not a suppression, or it could be a suppression if the symptom goes away and something else starts. In the months after that, then you know you suppressed it. That's possible with a partial remedy, that some symptoms are suppressed, but it's also rather rare.
I think one has to insist really for a long time and with repeated doses to produce this, right?
Yes. And you know, that's what we call the zigzag method. Sometimes, and also it's already in Hanuman's organon. Sometimes you give a partial suitable remedy, some symptoms go away, some symptoms persist, then you give a remedy on the persisting symptoms, so the new picture, so-called new picture, then some symptoms go away, some are still there, then you give another remedy on the leftovers, and sometimes 2 years later new symptoms come, and so it's like a zigzag way to cure, which is also legitimate, because if you don't see the similitude, and in many cases we don't see it. Then the only way, instead of going straight, then you go zigzag.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, of course, this is often in this situation we're leaving out the practical aspects. You know, because we cannot know if we give a similimum and we just give a remedy, and if it's a partial or a not fitting remedy or a similimum remedy we don't know before. So we have no knowledge of the effect that it will have in the treatment, so to say, whether it will work or not in this way. But for the sake of theory, right? We're speaking in this sense. So with the zigzag in the theory, because also I think often we don't see patients long enough to know whether we really have eliminated all the symptoms or not, and most of them are fine and happy, and that's it. Once things that bothered them are gone. So with the zigzag method, we can also arrive without ever prescribing the similimum at a cure.
That depends on what you call cure. And
yeah.
We always come back to the essential points, because it's where it all starts. What is to be cured? What do you consider a cure? And I keep referring to Hahnemann this time, I don't know why, but one of his first aphorisms is to restore the sick to health. That is what we're supposed to do. So he's talking about the sick. I know he's not very consequent in his writing, and he's contradictory and other aphorisms and all that, but that's my reading of the Organon. We treat the sick, which is the person. We don't treat the disease. So that's a crucial difference. If you treat diseases, then you treat expressions. And very often the zigzag method, not always, but very often, is aimed at taking the symptoms away, which is taking the expressions away, while leaving the source of the problem untouched. So I don't say it doesn't work, it's only that it's a different purpose. You can't take symptoms away, but you leave the person untouched. Of course, the person will be more happy if his symptoms are gone, that's clear. But he will be the same. In his heart and soul, he will be the same. While as if your purpose is to treat the person, like the similimum prescriber will always try to reach at this point that you match the basic being of the patient, while taking his symptoms as expressions of this, as you know, the dots that you have to combine in order to see the pattern of this disturbance, because he has no other way to verbalize it or to express it than by signs and symptoms in mind and body, as Hahnemann already said. So we take all these signs and symptoms in mind and body, not to get them away, but as stepping stones, as dots, to combine them and to see the pattern of the disturbance, which is, as we said last time, one, because you're individual and it will stay with you all your life. And if we reach at that remedy, at that substance, if you can find it, if you can give it, then we see the patient as a person change, transforms. It's not his symptoms going away. It's not his headache going away. It's a different person altogether. Or as a colleague of mine would say, he's the better version of himself. He's okay with himself. He's still himself, but now okay with himself. You know, his conditions to be okay have either loosened so much or either fallen away altogether. So, as Vitulka said, we aim at not only health, but also at freedom.
Yeah. Interesting that you mentioned him, because I was also thinking of this. That's because it was already Vitulka's aim or definition of health, that it's a greater freedom, liberty to be you.
To be you, exactly. So it's not only about taking away the symptoms, which in itself is already great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah,
you can do that.
Already quite an achievement compared to other therapies, right? Yeah.
Yes, and your patient will be absolutely happy. But basically, what we're trying to do is something different. And that's why often I think homeopathy is not well understood, because I don't know any other, healing method that is really trying to do this.
Yeah, it has the potential.
As a side effect, fine, but I mean, as main purpose.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So again, in theory, and let's say we're aiming at a similimum prescription, but we can't figure it out, the similimum, we might still end up with partial remedies than at a transformation of the patient, you think?
I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure, because what we're saying is you're taking away the symptoms. And since the symptoms are only the expression, you're taking away the expressions.
Yeah.
And then hoping that, as a side effect, the source will dry up. I don't think so. It's not the way it works. It's the other way around. The source dries up first, and then as a side effect, as a result, expressions are not longer there because there's no need. There's nothing that fuels them.
Right, right.
There's no disturbance to be expressed.
So for a zigzag method to be successful, we also would have to end up sooner or later at the similimum, yeah, right?
In fact, we should, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I would like to come back to the your idea of vital disturbance then. Could we say then that the vital disturbance is probably a very good name for it then, right? Because it's the vitality is disturbed and the remedy brings it back into harmony. Is that it? It's not that there is something on top of it, which is the disturbing factor, and you take away the factor, so to say, and then what remains is just perfection, or
just perfection. Yeah, opposite can be all perfect and the same.
Yeah.
There's only one, so we have to be all similar. Which we obviously are not. That's another reason to believe that after the remedy, your state can't be gone, because what would be left of you? Your humanness. But we all have humanness to start with. That's a given. That's still different. So if you take away the difference, then your sameness would be left over, and then we would be all the same. And obviously, that's not the case. But that was not your question. Your question was, it's vital, and as a matter of fact, it's a bit of a confusing words, because Hahnemann calls it the dynamis, and his concept of the dynamis is also contradictory from one aphorism to another. So I won't go into that. I only tell you that my reading is the dynamis level 5. Although Hahnemann probably meant, I don't know what he meant, but I can conclude it from his aphorism, sometimes pointed at what I would call level 2. Level 2, to remind you very shortly, level 1 is your physical body, level 2 is your energetic aspect of your physical body. It's the visible aspect of your physical body. So it's the level of the level of energy, your energy distribution in the body, the pain, the hormones, the neurological problems, this, what we mostly would call generalities, operate. So also you could say your amount of vitality in your body is level 2. Are you very energetic? Do you have a lot of energy? Are you very vital, or are you worn out and and tired and so on. So that is level 2 actually. Vitality in that sense is level 2. And vital level is, according to me, and that's why I'm saying it's a bit confused in the words, in the language. Vital level is something completely different. It's level 5, it's beyond mind and body, so it's not physical, it's not mental, it's beyond.
Yeah.
It's sensation level if you want, but sensation level is like limiting it to a sensation, while vital level actually points to the fact that it's vital to you, it's your core thing.
Exactly, because now that you bring this back with the sensation method, there was the idea there is a vital sensation, and the vital sensation seemed to be equal to vital disturbance. And if you give the remedy that corresponds to this, the vital sensation disappears, so the disturbance disappears.
Yeah.
And this is what we began with. In your view, this can't happen because it is your individuality, so to say, that is disturbed then, right?
So it can't go. It's the same as the healthy lions question. If the lion goes, it's only human. But if the buttercup goes, this is also a human left. Are they the same? No. They're still individually very different. So individuality can never be taken away. Your face can be washed away and become the perfect face, or your fingerprints, like there's only one perfect fingerprint. That doesn't make sense to me, you know. So it is not something that can go. Sometimes I use the comparison, like if you have a gastritis, if you have an upset stomach, you will feel it on all levels. So you will feel pain, you will feel worry, you will have thoughts about it, that maybe you have a cancer and you're incurable and whatnot. So then if you finally get a remedy or a medicine, whatever, allopathic or homeopathic remedy to take away this problem in your stomach, your worries are gone, because your pain is gone. And so your energy comes back and your appetite comes back and you feel happy, but your stomach is still there. Your stomach isn't gone. It's just unnoticed. Now it does its work in the background, and it's healthy and it does what it's supposed to do, but you still have stomach. Yeah. And I think the vital disturbance is something similar. When disturbed, it makes itself noticed on all levels. Yeah, you have a pain, you have a discomfort, your energy goes down, your mind is upset, you're full of worries and delusions, whatnot. And these are all expressions of something, of this vital thing in us that is disturbed, in the same way that an organ can be disturbed. You get a remedy, your vital sensation goes back to the background and does its work in silence. Leaves you alone, leaves you in peace. And it's still there, but it does its work as it's supposed to do, without making itself noticed.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So it's do you equate it to and this is not a religious question, but would you say that this is the soul then?
I don't know.
And there is a affected or disturbed disturbance there.
You could say that as we have this once in a lifetime appearance here on earth, in this particular form, with this particular combination of whatever traits, inherited physical traits, inherited psychological traits, and then whatever life lessons we came here to learn, whatever story we wrote in our big book before we came, you could say yes, somewhere there the remedy is an aspect, and like harmonizes this whole journey. We have over ourselves, our okayness with ourselves, which basically, as a mental concept, we know we are. We are all perfect in our imperfectness or in our differences or in our lessons we have to learn. We would think so from a child, you know. All children are okay, you know. They're, you know, little babies, you know, they're okay. They're perfect in themselves. Yeah? It's only later we feel like we have a whole lot of flaws and conditions and whatnot in order to be loved. You wouldn't think so of a baby. Every baby is born on earth deserves to be loved. Because it's perfect.
Yeah.
But later on, you know, and the mind comes in and we have all kind of experiences and you know, we get scars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this the soul? Might be an aspect, I don't know.
I see. Yeah. It was just my curiosity. It doesn't really matter in terms of the homeopathic treatment. Okay. So to sum up, we understood that we're not talking about something separate from your individuality, from the core of you. When we talk about vital disturbance, for you, this is the same.
Yeah.
And this dynamis, this life force, can be disturbed, and the Senillimum will bring it back into harmony. And also, you told us what is the theory for you to bring it back into harmony, which you call entrainment. What happens with wrong remedies, with partial remedies, also a direct as opposed to also a zigzag way to cure and what is to be cured. Okay, great.
Yeah, we covered a lot of topics, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I think we covered it completely now, this aspect, and next time I would like to expand on this a little more in the with the case management in the more practical terms. This was more a philosophical episode, and next time we would go into that. Okay?
Okay, next time we go practical.
All right. Thank you very much, Anna.
Yeah, it was my pleasure again.
I look forward to the next time.
Me too. Bye, Joost.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.